Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And what can happen during a baby formula shortage in New York City? Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is because of an article that I have seen on RT.com, where they were talking about how New York City declared a state of emergency because of the baby formula shortage. Now, of course, you know, if you're an Israelite woman and you got an operating brain and you're smart, you would know that you don't need baby formula. You don't need Similac to feed your baby. You can breastfeed your baby. You can feed your baby pap or panada, which pap is made with hot water and flour, or with warm milk and flour and some eggs, and you stir it up real good. Okay, panada is a cereal-like substance that is made in broth. These are natural ways you can feed your baby. Or the alternative is, which is usually the best alternative, is to breastfeed your baby. You know, breastfeed your child. Stop giving your baby this damn Similac and baby formula. Okay, it ain't nothing but chemicals, and they're already talking about how, you know, there's always a good possibility that these baby formulas or Similac can have bacteria in it, in which they say that they say that 2 infants, which I'm pretty sure is more than that, but they say that 2 infants have died in the past from drinking of these baby formulas and Similacs. So it's best if y'all start feeding y'all baby the natural way, man. No, I'm not talking to you Israelite women out there, which are these so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indian women. Okay, if your child is an Israelite, you're supposed to be breastfeeding your Israelite child. Okay? And by the way, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indian men, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Indians are the true Hebrew Israelites spoken of in the Holy Scriptures. So it still begs the question, what could happen from a baby formula shortage in New York City while New York City is in a state of emergency? Well, several things could happen. We're talking about a crisis, you know, a so-called crisis. You know, we're talking about people who could possibly protest, riot, because you see, Esau, he knows how you Jakes get down out there. They know that as soon as you know, things start to seem like they're not going how they should, the first thing Jake does is what? He riots, he protests. So when a country declares a state of emergency, that means that they can immediately employ martial law. So we're looking at possible riots and protests in New York City over baby formula shortages. And the main ones who's going to be out there protesting and rioting are you women, along with all of you effeminate men. A lot of you men who are effeminate, you got your head up the woman's ass, you're a woman worshiper, you're going to be following right behind her to these protests and riots over baby formula shortages. So there could possibly be martial law down there. And little do y'all know, this whole thing is systematically being set up to put America further into a police state. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 25. And through his policy also, he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And you know, this democracy, all these Republicans, and you know, all these legislations and decrees being passed, this is all a part of the so-called elite's craft. This is part of their craft. This is a part of, you know, the Illuminati's craft. This is a part of the United States government's craft. This is all a part of their craft to further oppress our people. And you Israelites out there, you don't realize that you are the main targets. Okay, the main ones buying baby formula to feed their babies is our people, our nation. And it shouldn't be like that. It should not be like that. So they know that if there's a shortage of baby formula, the first thing Jake is going to do is what? He's going to riot. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. Okay? You know what else is a part of that craft? The chaos as well as the control. You know, I was listening to Apostle Gabar's video, and yeah, you know, control and chaos. They're both two sides of the same coin. You know? Because there is no winner or loser in this situation when it comes to the United States government, because when they create the chaos, they're going to come with the answer, the solution. But it is a lose-lose situation for the 2/3 of our people, because the Lord is going to defend his elect men. The Lord is going to defend his elect. So it's a lose-lose situation for the 2/3 of our people. Why? Because they trust in oppression. They have put their trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore, shall their trust in shadow be their shame and their confusion, which I'm going to get that next. Okay? And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes. Who's the prince of princes? That's Yahushua, okay? Yahushua is King of kings, Lords of lords, Prince of princes. But he, the so-called white man, starting with the so-called elites, trickling down to the rest of their nation and people, shall be broken without hand. By who? By Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Now, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 1. Woe to the rebellious children, save the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me. If you're feeding your baby Similac or baby formula, you're taking counsel, but that's not the counsel of the Lord. Okay, in the Garden of Eden, did not the Lord create Adam and Eve? Which Adam was a group of men made up into 3 different categories: the sons of God, the sons of men, and the sons of the wicked. But then you also had Eve. Okay? You also had Eve, which was what? A group of women. And there's a reason why when Yahushua and his elect men created men and women, there's a reason why when they created women, they gave her 2 breasts. Those 2 breasts was created so she could breastfeed her child. Okay? If you got 2 titties, you should be breastfeeding your child, period. And I'm not talking about some 6 or 7-year-old child either. I'm talking about a newborn, well, not a newborn baby, but I'm talking about a baby that's like 12 months old, 14 months old, a baby that just came out the womb recently. You should be breastfeeding your baby. You shouldn't be giving your baby Similac or baby formula. A woman's natural breast milk is good for brain development, mental development of the baby, as well as bone and cartilage development of the baby. So if you're an Israelite woman, you should be breastfeeding your child. But if you're feeding your child Similac, if you're feeding your child a baby formula, then you're taking counsel, but that's not of the Lord. So what did the Lord say? Woe unto you. Because you have taken the counsel of Esau over his counsel. Okay? The Lord never said to feed your baby Similac or baby formula. Okay? The Lord gave you women breasts for a reason. You're supposed to be breastfeeding your baby, and it saves you a lot of money. You over here spending hundreds of dollars on baby formula and Similac when you can breastfeed your baby for free. Your breast milk is free. It pisses me off just thinking about it. Like how stupid can you be, man? You gonna waste hundreds of dollars on baby formula and Similac when you can breastfeed your baby for free? Like, really? I know our people are more smarter than that. Well, hold on. I think I'm going off because according to Jeremiah 4 verse 22, the Lord called you 2/3 sottish children. But anyways, woe to the rebellious children, which the word woe goes back to the Hebrew word abadium, which means destruction. Destruction to the rebellious children, save the Lord, that take counsel but not of me, and that cover with a covering but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Because ultimately, if you're feeding your baby Similac or baby formula, that's a sin right there. Because you're basically putting chemicals inside your baby. You're putting bacteria in your baby, man. You're destroying your baby as your baby grows and develop. And then you wonder why when your child gets to the age of 10 or 12, he got mental issues. When your baby gets to the age of 6, he has a ADHD. He has some kind of mental disorder. He might be learning disabled. He might have a very short attention span. Well, think about all those years from the time your baby left that womb all the way up until now, when all you did was fed your baby Similac and baby formula. So who's to blame for that? The woman is. Okay, verse 2, it says, that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. Now, when it says ask at the Lord's mouth, that means pray. Whenever you find yourself in some kind of trouble and you're an Israelite, you're supposed to be praying to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai for all your helps and needs. You're not supposed to go to the government for aid or assistance. Okay, here it is. They're taking away your Similac, which this whole shortage of Similac is systematically being done. Okay, it's all systematically being done. A lot of these food factories that are responsible for developing baby formula and Similac is being destroyed. They're being burned down to the ground. Okay, and that's exactly what the so-called elites want you to do. They want you to go to them and beg and ask for help. Because at the end of the day, the 2/3 of you niggas out there, you see the so-called elites as your God, as your savior. When Yahweh The Most High Yahweh is your God. Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, he is your Savior. Okay. Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh. Wait, hold on. Let me continue reading. It says that go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. They strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, meaning to receive help in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And modern day Egypt is America. Okay, when you read the book of Revelation, I believe the 11th chapter, it speaks about how their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt. Okay, Babylon is known as that great city, and we also know Babylon to be America. So America is the new Egypt, the modern day Egypt. Verse 3, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Because now that there's a shortage of baby formula and Similac, a lot of you niggas, you're going to be confused. You're going to be bugging out. You're going to be asking what's going on. And then ultimately, you're going to run to the government for help and assistance. Now let's go from there to, what is it? I think it's Isaiah 31:1. Okay. Isaiah chapter 31, verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on right. When you're going out to the protest and riot over baby formula shortages, you're ultimately pleading to the government for help. That's normally what it means when somebody go out there to protest. You're basically pleading for justice, or you're pleading for help from the government. So woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not to the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, neither seek the Lord. Right. Because the scriptures say that they that seek the Lord understand all things. But because you're not seeking the Heavenly Father or his Son, you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand why there's a shortage of baby formula. You don't understand why these different food corporations are being burned down. You don't understand why farmers are being paid to kill tens of thousands of chickens and turkeys. You don't understand why, certain imports certain imports of food ships from other countries are being halted or being told to go back to their country. You don't understand these things because you're not seeking the Lord. So because you don't understand these things, what are you doing? You're confused, you're mad, you're upset, you're crazed in the mind, you're bugged out. And right before you know it, you find yourself out there outside with a street sign demanding help, demanding justice, making pleas, hoping that they come with a solution, which is exactly what the so-called elites want. Because the moment they come with a solution, it's going to be some kind of draconian solution that is going to, for the rest of the time that this kingdom remains, it's going to take away your rights and your freedoms. Now let's go from there to the book of Hosea. Chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because if you had some form of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Holy Scriptures, you would know to feed your breast baby. You would know to breastfeed your baby if you're an Israelite woman than to give them Similac or baby formula. So because you're destroyed for a lack of knowledge, You're willing to give your baby chemicals over natural breast milk, which is far better for a baby. So my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore, I will change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. It's just plain and simple, man. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. Right. Our people have rebelled against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Excuse me, I'm crossing the street. Okay? Our people have rebelled against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. How have you done that? By ignoring the prophets and the servants that he have sent out to the highways and hedges to give you warning. You've ignored them. You abhor them. It says, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. Our people don't care to know. You know, they want things to continue as they are. So you know what's going to happen? The Lord is going to bring judgment on them. You know, and you begin to see why the Lord is going to bring judgment upon the 2/3 of our people, of the nation of Israel. But with that, I'm going to say, Shalom is on to the next one.